Welcome back to Stay Tuned. I'm Tony Angelo. We got a good one we're going to talk about today. This is a really fun idea. It is cars that are awesome. Almost. Like they're just about awesome. What we're going to talk about today are the top 5 cars that desperately need an engine swap. They look cool, they've got, they're a good value right now, maybe the chassis is kick-ass, they handle well, whatever it is, but they did not get blessed with any kind of serious power, and there's a ton of cars like that, and we're going to talk about the top 5 right now. This is about, imagine this, right? It's like, you're not the worst looking dude in the world, and you're not the dumbest dude ever, and then the good Lord decides to make you 5'8" and gives you asthma. It's like, not me, hypothetically, it's awful. Anyway, we're not going to talk about pretty much anything Chevrolet powered, and I'm going to tell you why. Just about any muscle car that came with a small block Chevy, you could throw a cam and heads on that thing and have a beast little motor. I'm talking about stuff that needs an engine swap. That motor's got to come out because it just doesn't make any sense to hop it up, and there's just so many better things that will plug into it. And here's what I'm going to say right now. The top 3 swap engines, and we'll talk about what could fit into each car, that you need to know about right now. Number 1, Chevrolet LS 1, 2, 3. The LS platform. Absolutely brutal. They kick ass. They're small. They're affordable. They came in a bazillion cars in sizes from 4.8 to 7 point whatever. They're rippers. You can find them. If you're smart, you're probably going to grab, and you really want to maximize your value, you're going to grab a 5.3 or a 6-liter, and you're going to plug that thing into one of these cars. So the second swap motor we're going to talk about that's really killer, the Toyota 2JZ. Legendary, inline 6 Toyota turbo, 24-valve iron block beastie horsepower machine. They came turbo, they came twin turbo, they came VVTi, they came non-VVTi. All of them are killer motors. You can make a ton of power with them, and they are a little bit up in price right now, but still, for what you get, they're not too bad. My favorite one, and the best value to get, again, saving our pennies here, is the 1JZ, which is like, we're gonna lump them together right here. The 1JZ VVTi motor that came single turbo. You used to be able to get those like $1,400. I'm sure they're probably $2,500 now, but it's still a bitchin' motor. You can make an easy 400 horsepower out of them, and they are killer. The last motor we're going to talk about, if you're really talking about swaps, and we're going to go all over the place. There's some muscle cars on this list. There's a bunch of Japanese stuff. But the last motor we're going to talk about that fits in everything, and I really like, and I've actually never messed with, is a Honda K24, the K series. Those are kick-ass motors that came in a ton of stuff. It's important that they came in a lot of things, because that means once they're in the junkyard, you can find them cheaply. I just saw an Accord K24 for $899. And if you put a turbo on that thing, it'll make 450 horsepower all day long. So, killer motor, small, light, breathes really well, has a ton of aftermarket support. That's what you want in a swap motor. All right, so that's the 3 we're probably going to talk about, plus a couple more, but those are the top dogs. So here we go. We're going to talk about 5 cars right now that you can get for a great value. I love maximizing value for performance in cars. That's what I like to do. Spend a little, get a lot. That's the deal. Nobody wants to spend $1 million to get a whack-ass car. It's just not cool. So here we go. I'm actually going to start with an honorable mention, right? Because everyone's going to cry about this. We're talking about cars that are really great cars, look sweet, handle well, chassis is good, whatever it is, but they just need a motor that rips. We're going to talk 240SX, right? Here's the thing. They have all been absolutely just run through at this point by the initial D generation. I take personal blame for that. But really, like, those cars are haggard, and they're a fortune. They're like 30 grand if you want a nice one. It's a stupid car at this point. Yes, it's cool. But they just are such a pain in the butt to get good value out of that we're not even going to put them on the list. Yes, if you take one and you plug a K24 in it, is it going to be the coolest car ever? Probably. Is it going to cost you 30 grand? Also probably. So, get out of my face. Okay. Number 5. Boom! Honda Civics. Remember we talked about the motors that we like? LS, 2JZ, and the K24. So you can bolt a K24 in pretty easily with, you know, there's kits and stuff like that. So that's a ripping car, EG or EK. It's 1991 and 95 or 95 to 2000. That's the 5th and 6th gen Civic. Let me look you right in the face right here. I have never owned a Honda Civic, and I probably never will. So while it's a kick-ass car, it's just not my vibe. It's front-wheel drive. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not trying to find any spoon engines on a late Friday before race wars. None of that stuff is for me, but I'm not going to front. That's a good car, and it's a great value right now, so go out and grab one. You know, if you're into that kind of thing. Okay, number 4, the first generation Subaru BRZ and FRS. When this car was, you know, coming out, people were losing their minds. Oh my God, Toyota is going to remake the 8.6, the spiritual successor to the 8.6. It's going to be the greatest, funnest, dopest car ever.
I'm gonna ask my dad to sign for the loan so I can get enough money to buy myself an 8.6.
And then they brought it out with an NA non-turbo 200 horsepower flat 4 2-liter motor. I swear that thing made 48 foot-pounds of torque. It is an absolute slog to get that thing up to speed. It's not with the stock motor. Obviously, swap it out, it's kick-ass. So what's nice about this, it's got a nice big engine bay. When you put the flat 4 motor into something, it's nice and wide. So you know what goes right in there? LS American V8 horsepower. And then that thing becomes a really kick-ass car. I like them. It's a little bit more money than you want to spend. I think they're like 8-9 grand now. I'm sure you can get a roller a little bit cheaper, but there's a great aftermarket. It's a great handling car. It's a great looking car. I have one that makes 800 horsepower, and it's not that flat 4 Subaru motor, obviously. Still, I put a Honda K series in that thing. It'd be awesome. I've seen 2Js in there. Ryan Turk's got a bunch of those. It's a great car. Once you put the motor in. Great car. It's almost a great car, and then boom, it's a great car. Now it's time to talk about some American cars. You ready? Number 3 on this list is the Oldsmobile, specifically G-Body. Talking about 82 to 88 Oldsmobile Cutlasses. 442 Hurst Olds, whatever you want to call it. The best motor that they came with is a 307 V8 making 180 horsepower. Is that going to make you king of the streets in 2022?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man.
Is it worth getting into that thing and putting a cam in it and trying to find some heads for it? No, it's not either. You know what you can do with it? Tear that thing out, drop in a Chevy big block, a Chevy small block, LS, anything, toss a turbo on there. I don't care. I'm not mad at you. And that thing will be a ripper because number 1, they're the cheapest G-bodies, I think. Number 2, they look awesome. It's a really, really cool car. That front that's like aggressive and like angular and cool. That thing is a sex machine.
I like a sex machine. Get on up.
It's so cool. And again, it just needs double to triple the horsepower.
Speed and power, that's the solution.
So once you get in there and do it, you're ready to rock. And what's nice is that's a G-body chassis, right? So you can get, you know, with the Monte Carlo and the Malibu and all the Chevys paving the way, there's tons of suspension parts. You know, you can get every coilover, every mounting bracket, everything you need to bolt in whatever motor. You can get tons of suspension. There are rear ends, you know, from anybody, Quick Performance, whatever, that will go right in there and let you bolt in a 9-inch if you're getting real serious. You can make it handle great. You can make it a drag car. You can make it a fun daily driver. There's no end to what you can do with an 80s Cutlass. Just toss that 307 in the garbage.
Yay!
You don't need it. You don't need it. Beat it. Don't put a K series. I mean, put a K. I don't care. Do your thing. Put a 2J in it. That would be dope. But get rid of that 307 and get serious. All right. We're going to talk now about the king of the streets. You guys like Toyota Supras? They're like legendary, incredible cars that make 900 horsepower on stock motors with giant turbos.
It popped the hood.
They're the original bad boy street killers as far as like turbo Japanese cars go. Yeah, guess what? You can't afford one, and neither can I. I just saw a thing where some drug dealer in Massachusetts got obviously locked up and put away and off the streets and whatever. And they looked in his backyard. That dude had like 11 Supra turbos, and he had a bunch of M3s and a bunch of other great stuff from the 90s. And guess what? If that dude had stopped selling drugs and just let his cars appreciate, he'd be a multimillionaire right now. They all went to auction. Every one of them went for $100,000. Turbo Supras are $100,000. It's nuts. Do you want to know what else you can buy that's almost exactly the same car for $2,500? Number 2. An SC300. Yeah, it's the same subframe. It's the same feel. It's the same suspension. Super brakes bolt on. You can do all sorts of stuff. The SC Lexus is very, very, very close to being the same car. You know what else is cool about it? It comes with a 2J. Yes, it's not turbo, but you know what bolts right in its place? The big dog. The twin turbo, whatever fashion you want, 2JZ motor goes right inside that thing. So it is a killer car with unbelievable potential. It feels like a Supra. It drives like a Supra. It takes the Supra motor, and it costs 50 times less. It's one of the best buys out there. They're so cool. I really like them. I've had one. I had one. That's what I put the 1JZ motor in. It was like my practice, drift car for a while, and it was really, really a cool car. Honorable side mention, MK3 Supra. Also a great car. Comes with a 7M GTE, which is a total trash motor. Sorry, Faye, if you're watching this. It's a big kind of grand touring 3,600 pound beast, but it also takes a 2JZ and it bolts right in there. So still a good car, great value. They're a little bit up in price right now. The later ones, I think they start in 1990. The sort of, refreshed version still looks pretty sharp. I'm into it. It's killer, but nothing's gonna touch that SC300 except the number 1.
I'm coming for that number 1 spot. Hey.
And this is ridiculous. I can't believe people aren't talking about this. The number 1 banger for your buck that I think is out there that nobody's really even talking about that much. And look, I know everybody wants to save money. Inflation is through the roof, right? Recession is pounding down our doors. Is there any chance we don't all want cheap, fun cars?
Hell no. To the no.
We all want cheap, fun cars. And this car is one engine swap away from being just incredible. Hey, quick break here just to announce that Stay Tuned finally has some merchandise. We've got the Angelo's Garage Gym shirt that just dropped. The new Stay Tuned Lightning Bolt shirt. Stickers, a couple other things. They're all available at this Shopify link. So give it a click. Thanks for supporting. Grab a shirt. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, back to the show. You ready? It's the Mazda RX-8. People hate this thing for no reason at all. Okay, there's a couple reasons. I'm going to tell you what they are. Number 1, it came with a non-turbo engine. So Mazda had made the FC. They made a turbo version. It was awesome. It only came turbo in Japan because Japan was going hard. But then we got the 3rd gen. Mind blower. 255 horsepower stock, twin turbo rotary, light, gorgeous, incredible, super cool car. They stopped selling them here in 94, I think. They made it for a couple more years in Japan and then decided RX is dead for a while and we're going to come back with the RX-8. A slightly more mature version of our ultimate sports car. A little bit more bloated, a little bit bigger. It's got weird side doors on it, like it's kind of a 4-door, it's kind of a coupe. The styling isn't quite as razor sharp as the 3rd gen RX-7. All these are reasons that people, when it came out, were like, ugh, I don't know. And here's sort of the real kicker is that it came only non-turbo. Mazda claimed it made, I think, 250 horsepower, and then when it got dynoed, it made less to the point where they had to give people money. And it just sort of hurt the car. But here's the thing. I raced a swapped RX-8 for a long time. It's an incredibly good handling car. I really think they're killer, and it's the cheapest thing I can find on Marketplace right now. You can find an RX-8 for $1,000 with a blown motor, and do you know why? They're all blown up. They're just all blown up. You don't want one with a good motor. You want it blown up, and guess what? Turns out that already happened for pretty much everybody. So you go on, you buy one of those things. Mazda made the engine bay pretty sizable. Here's what I would swap in there. LS1, killer. I know that Sicky makes a kit for it. Put an earlier turbo rotary in there. You want to keep the soul of the thing intact? Do that. But it's a very cool car. I'm honestly talking myself as we speak into buying another one. They're so cheap, and they're such a good handling, awesome car. If the styling doesn't do it for you, there's cheap body kits out now that we couldn't get, 15 years ago when I was racing one. And you can make it look halfway decent. You can get a running and driving car. The rear ends on those things are stout. You could run 450 horsepower through it, no problem. And you'd have a really killer car. I know this is a random ass car to pick as number one. But look, incredible chassis. Great brakes. Value through the roof. And I think with little work, they can look cool too. And that is my number one. Deal with it. Hit me in the comments. Tell me why that shit is stupid. I don't know. Mazda RX-8s. Are we all going to buy them? If you guys buy them, I'll buy one. If you do it, I'll do it. I'm telling you. Somebody comment. We'll do it together. All right? Okay. That's it for this episode of Stay Tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe and go find a diamond in the rough. Or like almost a diamond? I don't know. It's like close to a diamond. All right. Peace.